Greetings, Commanders. I'm Commander Gypsum, and today we've got some good news. 2.1 has gone live. Alright, so that means we're going to do a combat AI comparison between 2.0 and 2.1, a side-by-side comparison so we can see what we're getting ourselves into with 2.1. Alright, without further ado, let's get to the fight.
Alright, so for our first fight, we're hopping in our Diamondback Scout, and we're in a high-intensity RES going after some pirates. So you can see here on the left-hand side is the 2.0 pirates, and on the right side is the 2.1. And you can see we are now up against a federal dropship with the rank of Master. And something that I have to note right off the bat is with the AI update, the cops are a lot more effective. So when you're watching 2.1, you're going to find the cops are a lot more involved, they're bigger ships, and they're ultimately going to do more damage against the bad guys. So that's definitely going to help you out. So if you're just getting into combat in 2.1, I highly recommend going for an RES that has security forces in it. So go for a low, regular RES or a high intensity RES. Now you can see the federal dropship from 2.0 is destroyed, so we're going to go full screen off for 2.1, which is taking longer now. And we've got a timer here on the top left that's going to let us know how much longer the fight's taking on either side. So if 2.1 takes longer, we'll find out how much longer, and vice versa if 2.0 takes longer. Yeah, so you can see even with just a master ranking, the ships can still be pretty squirrely. We can see he's going off with a chaff routine, and now his shields are finally coming down so we can do some damage. But as you can see, we've got a security anaconda also firing at him, so that should definitely get the fight under wraps here. Make that 2 security anacondas. This high res is packed with cops. It looks like his hull is just about to evaporate, even though he's still popping chaff. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, made a little bit of contact there. So he is down, and it took 1 minute and 2 seconds longer than 2.0. Alright, so now off to our next fight. We're going after a deadly rated Python, and again 2.0 on the left and 2.1 on the right. Now 2.1 hasn't been out that long now, but I have done a lot of fighting, and I gotta say, I think instead of just combat rank, it seems like each ship is more likely to do a certain amount of skill. It's pretty interesting. Now you can see here on the left is the old spin of death routine that we saw a lot in 2.0. Luckily that's fixed in 2.1. I have not seen the spin of death there, so I'm definitely glad they got rid of that. That was a real annoying bug there. Now you can see, despite the bug, the hulls are pretty much about the same now with 2.0 and 2.1, and that's mainly because it's pretty much just me in 2.0 going after these ships. There are a couple cops out there, but there's only just a couple Vipers, so yeah, not a whole lot of cop presence, and as you can see with 2.1, it's just anacondas everywhere. So you can see the 2.1 Python is down, so even though, yeah, I think it is a trickier difficulty, with all the extra security in these RESs, you know, they really don't stand too much of a chance. Now you can see with the 2.0 here, we're not getting the same amount of chaff that we're getting in 2.1. And 2.1, we're getting a 10-second rotation of chaff on and chaff off, basically. And in 2.0, we don't really see that much anymore. Alright, so it looks like the Python is about to blow here, but he is popping chaff right before he explodes. And you can see there are a couple security vessels in here, but if we get a look at them, they're really just a couple of Vipers, and they're not really helping out that much. Alright, but that's the end of our 2.0 Python. Alright, so now next is a Clipper, both rated dangerous. And now you can see we've moved into a hazardous resource extraction site, and I'm inside of my Anaconda. Now the reason I've done this is so we can get a little bit more of a one-on-one fight. As you saw in the high intensity RS, there was a lot of security ships, and I was definitely factoring in to how long the ships last. So now it's pretty much going to be one-on-one There's going to be a little bit of pirates fighting in and out there, but it's pretty much one-on-one. So you can see right off the bat the 2.0 clipper was out. It was affected by the spin of death, and that was the end of it. And the Anaconda really just tore it to pieces. So just looking at my Anaconda layout here, we've got 2 large beam lasers on the top of the ship, and the rest is all cannons. So lots and lots of cannons on this Anaconda build. Cannons actually got a little bit of love with this update. The projectiles are go faster now. They did list the actual speed, but man, I can just not think of it right now. But it is quite a bit faster, so it's not like trying to hurl, you know, a sofa off from a car. It's actually pretty effective now. Alright, you can see the clipper is about to blow, and it looks like it lasted 50 seconds longer than the 2.0 clipper. Alright, so next up is a dangerous rated federal gunship. If you watch my federal gunship video, you know the gunship's kind of a strange little ship. It's got 7 hard points, but not great shields, and maneuverability is not great, but it's kind of like a little mini Anaconda. Actually a pretty decent little ship. Now the federal gunship for the 2.1, they did change how it handles in Super Cruise. So if you are out there in Super Cruise with it, you're not going to have that eagle-like ability. It's actually nice and slow again. Alright, so you saw the 2.1 federal gunship got destroyed first. And now it looks like we're just wrapping up with the 2.0 version. So it looks like it's lasting 14 seconds, just about 14 seconds longer than the newer version on that try. Alright, so that's going to wrap up our comparison. So we're just going to end here checking out a 2.1 Elite Anaconda. We're going to see how it stacks up against 3 Anacondas and a Diamondback Scout. It's pretty brutal. But elite ships are pretty crazy now. They are definitely very high skilled. And yeah, I'm gonna have to say, if you're just going into combat starting out in 2.1, I highly recommend going into a regular RES, or a high RES, or even a low RES where there's a lot of cops. And they're definitely going to be able to help you out until you're feeling ready to head out into a Haz-Res by yourself. And do be warned, the Haz-Reses can be pretty brutal out there, especially with the big ships. So if you're going to head out to in a Haz-Res by yourself, I recommend going out in something like a Diamondback Scout or a Vulture or something like that. Something very maneuverable so you don't get yourself into trouble getting stuck in someone else's firing arc. Nobody wants that.
Alright, so you can see 2.1 is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag with the updated combat AI. If you're fighting in a high-res, a high-intensity RES, you might have a little bit of an easier time now that the security forces are really top-notch, and you can sort of wing up with them and really wreck down on some pirates. Now, as you saw, the Haz-Res is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more difficult. Deadly is very deadly, and you really have to think twice before you go after an elite ship, especially ships like Anacondas. Alright, I hope this has been helpful, and please stand by for more Elite Dangerous videos, including Season 2 of Will It Hunt? Alright, Commanders, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the black.
Thanks for watching, and let me know what you thought in the comments. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to see all of my latest videos.